Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Hunter Constantine, but my name Kodak Black.
Well, when you see me, I'm white.
We're gonna go through another fun drill today. I've been shooting this for, I don't know, like 6 or 7 months. It's just something I put together. I don't have an official name for it. We've been just calling it the 4x22. What that incorporates is 4 targets behind us. Here we have 2 targets at 22 yards, 2 targets at 4 yards. You engage 1 array, 2 shots apiece, reload, engage the other array, 2 rounds apiece. So you have 8 rounds total. You have transitions, you have follow-up shots, you have a reload, you have a draw, and it helps with some throttle control and that processing speed of like what your sight needs to look like for the far target and what your sight needs to look like at the close target. Typically you'll see 2 different cadences. For the far ones, it's just bop, 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 reload, bop, 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 bop. On the close ones, like as fast as you can just slam the trigger. As long as you have a good grip and a solid platform, you should be able to get hits generally in that alpha. I'm completely cold. I'm so cold right now, even though I'm in the middle of Arizona. I haven't shot around yet today, so we're gonna see what our cold times are. We're gonna warm up. I think my PR for this is a 323. Not clean though. I think clean run is like a 360, 370. But we're just gonna go ahead and shoot it, and then we're gonna talk about it. And just to note, it looks like I have like 1 or 2 holes on this right target here to start, but that's okay. Whew, that was a 449. A little bit slow to start. We got an edge breaker there. We got 2 alpha and 2 alpha in the back. I can barely see that though. That was an 8-9 hit factor. Let's rip it again. It's a 399, sub 4. We got 1 Charlie in the back though. I watched my sights dip down a little bit on that second target. So that's minus 2 points for 38 points divided by 3.99 for a 952. Let's see if we can squeak a 10 in here. Let's see if we can squeak a 10. Ugh, 376. There's a, let me see.
What do you say?
It's a delta. When I transitioned over from the left target to the right target, I pulled my gun too much. That's a delta. That's minus 4. This is not going to help us. That's the 36 divided by 376 for a 957, around the same. So we shaved off like 0.2 of a second, but that delta and that extra 2 points down did not help. And guys, the hit factor scoring, the alphas are worth 5 points, the Charlies are worth 2 points, the delta is worth 1 point, and a miss is minus 10. So you add up your total hits divided by your time and you get your hit factor. It's super simple. There's not any overthinking it, but it helps you get an idea of what you can do speed versus accuracy, because I'm gonna do a run right now where I'm just gonna disrespect my sights. I'm gonna go as fast as I can, try to get a low time. We'll see what the hit factor looks like. Those are 352. We've got 1 Charlie left, 1 low. We got 3 Charlies back there. Still all alphas up close for a 965. So again, we shaved another 0.2 off, but since we had lesser hits, lesser points in the back, the hit factors are still getting closer to each other, but we actually did beat it. That was the highest hit factor we've gotten so far. We got 1 more run in this first set of mags. Let's see if I can push it even faster. Let's see if we can get a new raw time. These targets are moving back there. I'm gonna wait for this wind gust to die down just a tad. My goodness. Last time we were filming in May, we had wind and it took my awning off, and it's feeling like the wind's just getting increasingly strong right now. Those are TA target stands that they're blowing over. I think the truck will be okay though. I'm gonna go reset those. What's going on out here? Fuck, the target's a little farther apart. Generally speaking, you want them just like side by side, but we'll rock and roll with them how they are. Wow, we're just gonna reset. The bird distracted me. I had the spirits of the Indians coming down on me, shooting on their sacred land. I will bless them with alphas. All right, so We got through the first 2 mags. Let's talk about what's going on. When you're starting out on the 22-yard targets, or the close targets for that matter, the first most important part of this drill is getting a good grip on your gun and drawing the gun out, presenting it correctly. So I'm making sure that my hand is set, my wrists are locked, my platform's solid. I'm ready to start pulling that trigger, and I'm looking, I don't want to look at the dot, but I want to confirm that the dot is where I'm looking on the target. You should always be target focused. So I'm choosing one little spot in the center of that target at the 22 to focus on. When I come up, my dot should meet where my vision is looking on the target. As soon as my brain confirms that my dot is where it should be, I'm looking for a good trigger press all the way through. And if you have a good grip, a good platform, a solid foundation, your gun's gonna return to that same spot and you get a follow-up shot in around 0.25 to 0.35 of a second. And that's the time it takes just for that gun to come back down and your brain to realize that it's confirmed in the same spot. For a 22-yard target, I'm doing a reactive shooting, so I'm watching the dot come down. I'm seeing it, I'm reacting, I'm pulling the trigger again, and that's in that like 0.25, maybe like 0.40 range. We got it on the timer. We did speed, so they're a bit faster. So we had like a 23 back there, a 24, a 22. But generally speaking, when you're a little bit more confirmed, let's say 25 to 40 range. Reload, ideally you're between like 1 and 1.5 seconds. And then on these close ones, they should be just disgusting splits, like sub 20 transitions, just up as fast as you can pull the trigger. And again, you're relying on that grip to get you center on that target. I'm getting just a streak of my red dot somewhere in the center of that brown, but the most important thing is that I'm looking at a specific spot. After my reload, when my eyes are coming up, I'm trying to jump to a point on the target, and it's usually somewhere in this lower one, and then by the time I realize where I should be looking on the target, my second shot's a little bit higher, and I'm changing my vision focus point as I'm shooting. And then as I get to the second target, this is a much tighter group because I'm on the gun, I'm on the target. My eyes moving from this target to this target is a lot easier transition than down to up with the gun compared to just here to here. You know, much less movement. But it's interesting, you start seeing patterns. That's why I like shooting about 2 full mags at this, just to see what's happening on it and what's going through it. We're gonna tape just these couple edge breakers and the 1 Charlie's on each target. Those first runs were clean though. They're pretty good. Did have a couple Charlies back there, 1 Delta. And that last run was just disgusting, but we won't talk about that one. We got a couple more mags, but what's great about this drill is like you're working on that throttle control, so I'm gonna start close now and then reload to the far targets. So 425, nice and controlled. I wanted to make sure I was getting those alphas in the back, and it looks like I was dragging my shots off these targets in the front here with those Charlies. We're gonna really focus on just staring intently at the center of the target. Ah! Recently swapped out the magazine release. No excuses though. .393. Thank you, baby Jesus. We pulled 2 Charlies on that one, both on the back target. We had 1 go right just outside of it. We had 1 go low on the second target. So we're looking at 36 points divided by 393 for a 916. For whatever reason, this close one's harder for me. I don't know why. Like, I'm getting locked up on the trigger, thinking about the transition, and the reload is just hurting me. We're all human. You're never gonna shoot your best every single day. But we can definitely warm up, and like the first reps that you do on this drill, like that first mag, like let's say the first 4 or 5 reps, that's like where your baseline skill is at. So, you know, the first one was like a 449, then we started into the 3s. And that's basically like where my baseline is at. And I actually see that pretty often in matches where on my first stage, I'll take it a little bit slower, I'll work on getting just perfect accuracy, and then as I keep shooting the stages throughout the day, I warm up a little bit, start getting a little faster, my eyes wake up, and I can start to move them a little bit faster. We're gonna tape everything outside of the alpha zone, and then we're gonna get some fresh mags, and we're gonna rip it again, and we're gonna warm up some more, we're gonna get those eyes moving, and we're gonna see how fast we can get this time down. All right, let's see if we can get above a 10 hit factor. We're gonna push the time. I'm just not gonna really regard my hits. Practice, it's really important to enter the exploratory zone where you're pushing past your executable skill level. So those first few runs, that's executable. I'm like, I know everything going on with my gun. I know the trigger press, everything's good. Now we're gonna enter into the unknown of exploratory practice. where I'm going to push myself past my comfortable limit of shooting and just see what times we can get and what hits we can get away with. That was a miss. Then we got some good old boys over here. We've got a target. From them, it's 547 yards. They did get a first round impact, which was cool. But I love just being part of the community out here. We're out in public land here in Arizona, and we're just all vibing together. We're just doing our thing, you know? They got a 6.5 bolt gun, and they're just, you know, maybe they should be smacking that steel more. Maybe they're gonna watch this video, who knows? Let's rock and roll. Enough chit-chatting. Let's get to some shooting. Let's enter the exploratory zone. .375, 2 Charlies. I'm not even gonna do hit factor till I get sub 350. Woo! 353 almost. .355, I hit my mag. I thought about it and I dropped that low Charlie on this close target. .360, that back portion was probably the best I've shot it yet. There were 4 alphas in the back, screaming pace. 111 first shot at 22 yards in the alpha zone with a 25 split, 23 split, 24 split, 126 reload. So that is at like my limit to get those clean shots. And then I fumbled the reload and shot those splits up front. Let's clean this up real quick. I'm just getting distracted. I need a little bit of a break. We got 2 mags to make this happen. Woo! 371. We dropped 2 Charlies back there. Fastest one yet. Not quite where we need to be though. Not quite where we need to be. Woo! 355. 2 Charlies again. We had 1 low one on the left target, then 1 high right on the back target. But that's gonna give us 36 points divided by 355 for a 10-1-4. So we broke 10. That's my goal for today. Sometimes I'll go out here and just, you set an arbitrary goal, you try to hit it. Really happy with these close targets. You can see the clusters of alphas on the target there. You can see as we kept shooting, this one started to tighten up a little bit, but this group right here, absolutely love for getting, we had 16 splits in that one. Not too bad. The back targets are what takes work though. And what you can do if you're struggling with this drill is break it down into sections. So you can just practice your draw to the 22 and shoot 2. You can have your gun at 22 and work on that transition from target 1 to target 2. You can start on with your sight on target 2 at 22 yards, reload into the close if you're having trouble with that. Or what I think I'll probably need to work on is have my gun starting aiming at target 3 up close here on the timer. And just work on that reload. That was a 265 from the beat. But you can break down the drill into these smaller segments to get better overall at it. And it also saves you a bit of ammo. That was a 254. And you just see what the times are and you keep trying to just walk it down. .253. That's about where I'm feeling comfortable to get alphas in the back there. Spread it up, that was a 241. We might have dropped a Charlie. Now we've got a target way up on the hill at 525 yards. And you guys see me run this a handful of times now. And now we're gonna see if we can get a 525 yard shot with an M&P. We're not hitting it today.